Welcome to the Murphy, Sam, and Jodi After the Show podcast, where we hang out a little bit longer with you. And today
have
we found
conversations.
Today we had one of those just kind of things that puts life in an odd perspective. The three of us kind of had this moment just a second ago, and that's why we said, okay, you know what? That should be today's After the Show podcast. Mm-hmm. We just found out that a colleague of ours in the radio industry, and didn't know him all that well, but was a nice guy, passed away, and he's pretty young.
Yeah,
56 years old. Is young, and it comes as a surprise, especially when somebody's an acquaintance and you don't know, so you don't know any of the stories that lead up to that. So
and it seems sudden.
When it seems sudden, and it doesn't have to be even that age. I mean, I've had it happen. When I was 35, I had a friend who passed away who was 35, mm-hmm. and so it's really weird how it reframes your perspective. You can't help but pull that in. And
internalize it.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
As the closer it is to you, to someone who actually moves in your world, the more, and everyone is rolling that way. That's why children are so susceptible. What does this mean to me, about me?
Yeah.
We're all children in that.
And I guess everybody's experience is a little bit, different with that. Jodi, you lost your dad when you were very young.
Well, 16.
Right. And so... And I know that that's, the two different ages. It's not the exact same thing that we're talking about, but was experiencing death early. I don't know if that changes your perspective on death.
I feel like it kind of does. I feel like I've been around, I've gotten close to people in my life who have never lost anyone until they're well into adulthood. And I do think it's very different to to experience grieving and death of a loved one when you are a kid.
Yeah.
For me, this was always what I took away. I was not so young that I didn't understand. If I wasn't 3, and so I didn't. It's not that I was asking, "Where's Daddy?" I was 16. I understood that it was final, and so, but I was also still very much immature enough to really need him.
Oh,
so I found that to be a very difficult age. I understood the severity of it, but I wasn't ready.
Yeah. And I guess it impacts you differently at different ages, too.
Yeah, my dad passed away when, I was much older. He was, too. And I guess
into your adulthood.
Kind of like what you're saying. I was more mature and able to process it and deal with it.
Doesn't mean it doesn't still hurt. It's still hard. It's the hardest part of life is letting go.
But you saying that, it just reminded me, I was one of those people that no one major in my life passed away until I was an adult.
Yeah.
My grandfather passed away when I was like 5, but again, I don't remember it.
Right.
I remember the family scrambling, but that's all I remember. So I never had a loss until I became an adult.
Yeah. That's good. That's wonderful. That's beautiful.
It starts to reframe your perspective because you realize things aren't finite. And I guess the difference between it being somebody who's older than you, versus somebody who's in your peer group.
Yes.
It strikes you in a totally different way.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking, oh, wow, okay, so this can happen at any age.
Your own
really?
mortality touches you and comes into play, as it should. The most important relationship you have in your life is with yourself.
Yeah.
So, of course, it's what does this mean for me?
Yeah.
It could happen to me.
Yeah.
I honestly, I've reached that point in my life, not that I'm totally Debbie Downer, but it could happen.
Yeah, of course it could.
There are times when I lay down at night and go to bed, and it's like, I wonder what would happen if it happened. Who's going to find me? When will they find me?
Well, we probably would.
Hey, where's Sam this morning?
It's on a weekday morning.
Well, thank goodness. Right. I have a weekday plan.
We'd be looking for you early.
But I think that's natural. But then you look at people who live for a very long time. Look at Dick Van Dyke, who is
100.
And he's already said he's not afraid of any of it. I guess you get to a place where you understand it is a natural part of life. It's not the thing that anybody wants to talk about. It's going to happen. It is.
Your dad.
Right.
Your dad said it best.
What? Oh, we're going to live till we die?
No. Dane. He always said, none of us are getting out of this alive.
Right. Yes, you're right. My dad did say that. Yeah.
Check for the best statement about living a life and dying.
Yeah.
It's just me personally, as I went along in life, when you hit the milestones, the 20 and the 30, and it's just like, it
never bothers
you. That's the future. Ain't got to worry about that yet.
Yeah. Right.
And then you get to the point where it's like, okay, the future is now. It could be any time.
And I think that the key is just, being in a place where you're not mentally worried about it.
No,
that's not
the thing.
living.
Right.
I don't dwell on it, but it's like, Yeah.
The only things that it's caused me to do, which I think are positives that I've turned into this, and again, what happened, when my dad passed, it really was one of those eye openers because that was a very different chapter of life beginning once you lose both parents. But one of those was just to realize, okay, well, some things aren't worth getting upset, bogged down in, and nobody's perfect at that. But I feel like it's easier for me to just not dig in to certain things anymore, to realize, okay, it's not. I don't want to, if whether it happens 50 years from now or whether it happens, whenever, I don't want to have looked back and gone, God, why was I worried the entire time about everything? Well, the challenges are going to be there regardless. But the other one is really has to do with Jodi and Taylor and Phoebe and making sure that it's always been the joke. Well, better get your affairs in order.
Oh, wow, it's not a joke to me.
But yeah, and so I think that they mostly are, but that's still one of those that I want to have taken care of. I can't control any of the rest. It's just a personal wish of mine that I want all of it organized because I am a very what's the word? Complex, extra kind of a person. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of spinning plates on things.
Oh my gosh, we just had this discussion too.
And some of those will be of zero interest to the kids or whomever. But I want there to be instructions and things for any of those. I want anything to be unwound. I don't want it to be. And my dad was great about that, mostly. Great from the standpoint that they were so well organized, we were able to walk our way through everything.
It was buttoned up. And
I remember my dad, it's when he was sick in his final days, he had this worry about things that weren't repaired around the house. And all of a sudden, everything that had been sitting around for years were things that he was just worried about.
You know why? He knew that you guys were going to be taking it over.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
I guess maybe in the back of his
is.
head, But our whole thing was, look, it's a hole in the soffit. Don't worry about it. It's a piece of wood. It's okay.
It's funny, but I could see that. I could see myself going, I forgot to. I didn't get to. I should have.
Because you never stopped being a parent.
I don't mean just about stuff with the kids or personal life. I just mean like that, the soffit. Oh, I forgot to do this. Oh, I didn't do that. Hey, when I go, don't forget to fix the.
But there will be
the hose. Yes! It's leaking.
There will be things undone in everybody's life when they leave this world.
You always said there's still going to be a load of wash in the dryer.
There'll be clothes I need to fold in the dryer the day that I kick it. I'm sure. Don't forget to fold them, Murph, if I go before you.
Yeah, but it's always interesting to me how it's the ultimate reset for your own life when you hear about somebody passing.
It's true.
And it's really at any age, but when it's closer to your age, or it's younger than you, it's really eye-opening,
And it's supposed to be. Let it be a lesson. Let it help you. What happened about our friend that we heard about today, and we don't even know the story. Let's let it help us appreciate our own lives. Yeah. These special, fleeting moments that we're in the middle of, that we're busy complaining about, which are actually beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. There's no perfect way to do it, but it's certainly, man, if there's one healthy way to look at it, it's like, okay, just appreciate the present even more. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I want to share this thing that I saw. I'm sorry, Murphy, on TikTok.
Okay.
I took a screenshot of it. It was a group of brothers.
Yeah.
And it says, this was to my brothers, but this could apply to the three of us or any group of friends. One of us will see all the funerals. One of us will see none of the funerals.
True. Yeah.
And one will have none of us at their funerals.
God. Oh, my gosh.
That's very oddly poetic.
It's also oddly poetic that it came from TikTok. No, it doesn't matter about the vehicle. Thank you for sharing that.
Missed any part of the show? Get it all on the Murphy, Sam, and Jodi podcast.